would have been less impressed than he was already. Okay. After one moment of Brahma's calculation, Brahma came back to see the fun caused by his stealing the boys and calves. But he was also afraid that he was playing with fire. Yes, he was afraid that he was playing with fire. So he was a little careful. I better get. Okay, I've taken them. I better check on this quickly. Krishna was his master, and he had played mischief for fun by taking away his calves and boys, right? So he's aware that Krishna is master and that he has done something mischievous for fun. So Prabhupada writes here, he was really anxious, so he did not stay away very long. He came back after a moment by his calculation. He saw that all the boys and calves were playing with Krishna in the same way as when he had come upon them, although he was confident that he had taken them and made them lie down asleep under the spell of his mystic power. Brahma began to think, all the boys and calves were taken away by me, and I know they are still sleeping. How is it that a similar batch of boys and calves is playing with Krishna? Is it that they are not influenced by my mystic power? Have they been playing continually for 1 year with Krishna? Brahma tried to understand who they were and how they were uninfluenced by his mystic power, but he could not ascertain it. In other words, he himself came under the spell of his own mystic power. The influence of his mystic power appeared like snow in darkness, or a glowworm in the daytime. During the night's darkness, the glowworm can show some glittering power, and the snow piled up on the top of a hill or on the ground can shine during the daytime. But at night, the snow has no silver glitter, nor does the glowworm have any illuminating power during the daytime. Similarly, when the small mystic power exhibited by Brahma was before the mystic power of Krishna, it was just like snow at night or a glowworm during the day. When a man of small mystic power wants to show potency in the presence of greater mystic power, he diminishes his own influence. He does not increase it. Even such a great personality as Brahma, when he wanted to show his mystic power before Krishna, became ludicrous. Brahma was thus confused about his own mystic power. Right, so he exercised some mystic power in order to steal away the cows and the calves. The very next moment he looked to see what was the result, and he saw the same boys and calves doing exactly the same thing as they were doing when he had taken them. So naturally he was totally baffled. Hang on a second, I just took them away, I'm sure of it. I exercised my power and I just looked back and they're all still there? How is it possible? What's going on? He became totally confused because he was up against the mystic power of Krishna, which is like the sun compared to the glowworm of Brahma's mystic power. Brahma's power is insignificant compared to Krishna's. Just like the glittering of snow and darkness, it's not practically non-existent. Or the glowing of the glowworm in the daytime, it's not even noticeable. So Brahma, the most intelligent being in this universe, practically was confused. In order to convince Brahma that all those... Does anybody have a question at all at this point? Any questions or thoughts? No? We'll keep reading? Okay. In order to convince Brahma that all those calves and boys were not the original ones, the calves and boys who were playing with Krishna transformed into Vishnu forms. Actually, the original ones were sleeping under the spell of Brahma's mystic power. But the present ones, seen by Brahma, were all immediate expansions of Krishna, or Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of Krishna. So the Vishnu forms appeared before Brahma. All the Vishnu forms were of bluish color and dressed in yellow garments. All of them had 4 hands decorated with club, disc, lotus flower, and conch shell. On their heads were glittering golden helmets inlaid with jewels. They were bedecked with pearls and earrings and garlanded with beautiful flowers. On their chests was the mark of Srivatsa. Their arms were decorated with armlets and other jewelry, and their necks were just like conch shells. Their legs were decorated with bells, their waists with golden belts, and their fingers with jeweled rings. Brahma also saw that upon the whole body of each Lord Vishnu, from the lotus feet up to the top of the head, fresh tulasi leaves and buds had been thrown. Another significant feature of the Vishnu forms was that all of them were looking transcendently beautiful. Their smiling resembled the moonshine, and their glancing resembled the early rising of the sun. Just by their glancing, they showed themselves to be the creators and maintainers of the modes of ignorance and passion. Vishnu represents the mode of goodness, Brahma the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva the mode of ignorance. Therefore, as the maintainer of everything in the cosmic manifestation, Vishnu is also the creator and maintainer of Brahma and Lord Shiva. Right? So it's very important that we don't equalize Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. They're not on the same level. Krishna, in his Vishnu expansion, is the supreme personality of Godhead. Brahma is his servant, and Lord Shiva also is the servant of the Lord. And if you ask them, are they God or are they servant of God? Both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva will say, we are servants of Krishna. And this is confirmed throughout the Vedas, and especially in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. After this manifestation of Lord Vishnu, Brahma saw that many other Brahmas and Shivas and demigods, and even insignificant living entities down to the ants and very small straws, all moving and non-moving living entities, were dancing, surrounding Lord Vishnu. Wow. So first of all, the Lord revealed to Brahma that it was he who was playing the part of all these different calves and boys. So that was Krishna's first mercy. He revealed. Brahma was very confused, what's going on? So Krishna agreed to alleviate his confusion, and he revealed that it's me. I am manifesting as all these boys and calves. But not only that, Brahma saw that many other Brahmas and Shivas and demigods and even insignificant living entities down to the ants and very small straws, all moving and non-moving living entities, what were they doing? They were dancing, surrounding Lord Vishnu. Their dancing was accompanied by various kinds of music, and all of them were worshipping Lord Vishnu. Brahma realized that all those Vishnu forms were complete in mystic power. From the anima perfection of becoming small like an atom, up to becoming infinite like the cosmic manifestation. Yes, so there are considered 8 primary mystic powers. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but essentially becoming very tiny, That's called anima. Becoming very tiny, like Ant-Man. Or becoming very huge, this Maghima city. One can also, with these mystic powers, one can also create anything at will. One can manifest gigantic planets. One can also take Prapti Siddhi. One can take anything from anywhere, even a far distant place, simply by extending one's reach. One can manifest one's own desire very easily. All of these mystic potencies allow one to manipulate the material energy for one's own purpose. So it stands to reason that Krishna has all of them, certainly because he is the source of all these powers. If any yogi exhibits such powers, it is simply because they are borrowing these powers from the Lord. All the mystic powers of Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, and the 24 elements of cosmic manifestation were fully represented in the person of Vishnu. By the influence of Lord Vishnu, all subordinate mystic powers were engaged in his worship. He was being worshipped by time, space, the cosmic manifestation, reformation, desire, activity, and the three qualities of material nature. Lord Vishnu, Brahma also realized, is the reservoir of all truth, knowledge, and bliss. He is the combination of three transcendental features, namely eternity, knowledge, and bliss, and he is the object of worship by the followers of the Upanishads. Brahma realized that all the different forms of boys and calves transformed into Vishnu forms were not transformed by a mysticism of the type that a yogi or a demigod can display by specific powers invested in him. This is a different kind of mystic power. The calves and boys transformed into Vishnu Murtis or Vishnu forms were not displays of Vishnu Maya or Vishnu's energy, but were Vishnu himself. So they weren't illusions. It's not that these boys and calves revealed Vishnu forms as a kind of illusion, a shape-shifting or some sort of trick. No. This was not Vishnu Maya. This was not illusion. Rather, they were actually Vishnu himself. The respective qualifications of Vishnu and Vishnu Maya are just like fire and heat. In the heat, there is the qualification of fire, namely warmth. And yet heat is not fire. Right? We maybe get a little heat from, an electric fan. An electric heater fan. May get some heat from that. But you can't use it in place of a flame. Right? It will not suffice. The manifestation of the Vishnu forms of the boys and calves was not like the heat, but was rather the fire. They were all actually Vishnu. Factually, the qualification of Vishnu is full truth, full knowledge, and full bliss. Another example can be given with material objects, which are reflected in many, many forms. For example, the sun is reflected in many water pots, but the reflections of the sun in the many pots are not actually the sun. Yeah? The child may say, "Oh, look in the water pot. There's the sun." They're seeing the reflection. But a grown-up person can understand that this is not the real sun, it's simply a reflection. And it will not do in place of the actual sun. There is no actual heat or light from the suns in the pots, although they appear like the sun. But the forms which Krishna assumed were each and every one full Vishnu. The specific word used in this connection is Satya Jnananantananda. Satya Jnananantananda. Okay. Satya means truth. Jnana, full knowledge. Ananta, unlimited. And Ananda, full bliss. So, Satya Jnana Ananta Ananda. Satya Jnananantananda. Each of these forms that the Lord manifested as calves and boys, they were all full Vishnu. So, here's a check-in question for you. All of the different calves and the boys that Krishna manifested in this pastime, were they, we'll make it multiple choice, were they illusory forms of Vishnu? Were they the original cows and boys that Brahma stole? Or were they actually absolute forms of the Supreme Lord? A, B, or C? Anybody wants to answer? The boys and the calves that that Krishna showed, were they the original boys and calves? Were they Vishnu Maya? Were they some kind of illusion? Or were they actually full forms of Lord Vishnu? They were full forms of Lord Vishnu. All the boys and the calves were absolute forms of Lord Vishnu. They were not illusions, and of course they were not the original boys and calves that used to play with Krishna. Okay. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are so great that the impersonalistic followers of the Upanishads cannot reach the platform of knowledge to understand them. Especially the transcendental forms of the Lord are beyond the reach of the impersonalists, who can only understand through studying the Upanishads that the absolute truth is not matter or is not materially restricted. From Krishna's expansion into Vishnu forms, Lord Brahma could understand by his limited potency that everything movable and immovable within the cosmic manifestation is existing due to the expansion of the energy of the Supreme Lord. So this was the conclusion that Lord Brahma came to. He could understand that everything that moves and everything that does not move, be that trees, plants, mountains, everything that moves and everything that does not move within this creation, within this universe and other universes, all of it is existing due to the expansion of the energy of the Supreme Lord. When Brahma was thus standing baffled in his limited power and conscious of his limited activities within the 11 senses, he could realize that he was also a creation of the material energy, just like a puppet. And Brahma realized, I am just a puppet here. As a puppet has no independent power to dance, but dances according to the direction of the puppet master, so the demigods and living entities are all subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One lady was asking me last week, or rather she expressed an opinion that the word subordinate may not be so readily understood by visitors to the temple here. Right? This word came up, subordinate. How does everybody feel about this word subordinate? Pardon? You're okay with it, right? Subordinate, what does it mean to you? What does the word mean for you?
I get the point of the connotation of it being weaker.
Weaker?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again,
So the problem is if the implied meaning that comes with it is weaker, then automatically we feel there's a vulnerability. Because if something is described as weaker, then they are vulnerable to exploitation by something stronger. isn't it? And so therefore we don't like that, because we don't want it to be true that something stronger could take advantage of my weakness. Therefore, I will not entertain this word subordinate. But actually, subordinate means your position is dependent on the position of something or someone else. That's subordinate. And then there are two ways that could go. There are two ways that could affect you. If you're subordinate to something or someone, then that someone or something is either going to take advantage of you, right? Or they're going to protect you. But if you are in a subordinate position, if you're not in control, absolutely. If you're not in control, absolutely, then you're at a risk of being controlled by someone or something else. You're at risk. What's the opposite of subordinate? I'm sure there's a word for it. Unordinate. Anyway. Whoever's not subordinate, whoever's on top of the pile, yeah? If they're offering protection, then that's a good thing. That's a great thing. So as a puppet has no independent power to dance, but dances according to the direction of the puppet master. So the demigods and living entities are all subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all of us are subordinate to the Lord. As it is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the only master is Krishna and all others are his servants. The whole world is under the waves of the material spell, and beings are floating like straws in water. So their struggle for existence is continuing. But as soon as one becomes conscious that he is the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Maya, or illusory struggle for existence, is immediately stopped. So Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo Moksha Yashami Mashucha. Just abandon all other duties, all other varieties of religion, and surrender to me alone. Come to me. Take shelter of me. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Come to me for shelter, for protection. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Don't fear. Krishna is ready to give us all protection. We're very tiny. We are not able to exert our absolute influence over the environment. We cannot control everything that is beyond us. We cannot even control what goes on within us, what to speak of outside of us. Rather, we are very much at the mercy of what happens outside of us, including what happens outside of our soul. What happens in this body? How much control do I have over it? Limited control, very limited control. So if I'm not in control, then it's clear that I am under control. So the illusion is thinking that I have some control over this material energy and over the course of my life and all the things that come my way. That's the illusion. And the reality is that I am actually like a puppet. Like this is Brahma's realization, and he is the chief of this universe. He is the most intelligent person, the most powerful, the original creator of all other species of life in this universe and their various places of habitation. Such an empowered and qualified personality, invested with so much energy and capability. The most capable person in the entire universe, Brahma. And he admits, I'm like a puppet. I'm under control. I'm subordinate. Many people don't like this. They don't like the idea that they are not in control. They like to think that they are fully independent. But if they analyze their lives and their sphere of influence and the area of their control, any sane person will admit that I am not independent. What independence have I got? Huh? Can you go without brushing your teeth? Who can go without brushing their teeth? You must brush your teeth. So what independence have you got?
Camels don't brush their teeth.
Camels. You then become a camel? And see how much more independence you will be given as in the body of a camel. Right? Drive. You must drive on the left-hand side of the road. Don't drive on the right-hand side of the road. Oh, but I'm free. I'm independent. Okay, try it. Try to drive along the right-hand side of the road if you're so free and independent. This independence, so-called independence, is an utter illusion. We are completely dependent on the environment and its laws. You know? I mean, what to speak of the laws of nature? Huh? We are controlled in so many ways by the laws imposed upon us by our own elected government. You must do like this, you must not do like that. Make sure that this box is ticked. Make sure that you file it on time. Right? If you step outside of their boundaries, someone will come and nick you. You'll be nicked and taken to the prison house. Right? And then you will very much understand how not independent you are. Right? When you're behind iron bars and you must eat whatever they pass through yeah. So where is independence? Independence is a myth. Right? You have little bit of independence. Right? Little bit of independence. Now your body is saying, go to the bathroom. Okay, I can go to the bathroom on that side of the building or the bathroom on the other side of the building. And I can go there in 5 minutes or maybe 10. Okay? This is the extent of my independence. Right? But I can't tell my body that, no, we'll not go to the bathroom for the next 5 hours, please. Okay, just try. Try to tell your body that no bathroom break for 5 hours. But everybody is jumping up and down for independence. Right? We must have our independence. No one is independent. Everyone is dependent on God and His nature. But, as soon as one becomes conscious that he is the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then this Maya, or illusory struggle for existence, is immediately stopped. You're welcome, Hare Krishna. So in the name of asserting independence, we're actually struggling. Simply struggling. Fighting for independence. And as soon as we come to Krishna, the struggle is stopped. And then Krishna can give us actual independence, actual freedom. Under Him, this much. Independence under Krishna. Not more than that, not beyond that. No one can be absolutely independent. In order to be absolutely independent, you would have to bring your lawyer to the temple, and have him, work out a contract with Krishna. My client wants absolute independence. Can you kindly arrange for him some place outside of your jurisdiction, where he can exercise his full independence and not have to bother with you at all. And Krishna might, look quizzically at the lawyer and think, okay, but any such place that I can give your client will simply be made of my energy, because nothing exists beyond my energy. So are you okay with that, right? That I will give you a place. As much as I would like you to be independent of me, I'm sorry, but in order to give you the place where you can be fully independent, I will have to make you dependent on me to have such a place. Is that all right, dear lawyer? And then the client will, have to recognize humbly that, maybe I am actually dependent on God.
Just nowhere outside of his jurisdiction.
Nowhere outside of his jurisdiction. Yeah. But the good news is that Krishna is a very loving God. Even though we are subordinate to him and utterly dependent on him, he is a very liberal and loving person, and is willing to give us all variety of enjoyable and free life with him, along with him. It's like, sometimes you have to. I'm just thinking that if I was, and this is a ridiculous notion, but if I was in Krishna's shoes, I would be thinking, my God, I'm like offering these people, happy, full, free life existence with me. We can enjoy eternally, and they don't want it. They're just trying to run away from me. It's like, what's the problem? I mean, I'm sure I smell good, It's what's the difficulty here? Where? Yeah. The problem is our problem. And therefore Krishna creates this material world so we can have the appearance of independence, right? Just don't mention God. Forget about God. There can't be a God, right? We'll all just try to make a go of it on our own in this place. We'll just fight it out to see who can become the top dog in the material world. Right? Dog eat dog. Which dog is left standing after all the dogs eat the other dogs? Okay, let's keep reading. Lord Brahma, who has full control over the goddess of learning, and who is considered to be the best authority in Vedic knowledge, was thus perplexed. Right? This much power he has, full control over the goddess of learning, the best authority in Vedic knowledge, and he's perplexed, being unable to understand the extraordinary power manifested by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the mundane world, even a personality like Brahma is unable to understand the mystic power of the Supreme Lord. Not only did Brahma fail to understand, but he was perplexed even to see the display which was being manifested by Krishna before him. Even Krishna showed him all of these Vishnu forms, showing that I myself am these boys and these calves that you thought you took away. Brahma was bewildered just by witnessing that, just seeing that. Right? And each Vishnu form, it says, was surrounded by other Brahmas and Shivas and demigods and living entities dancing around him, glorifying him. What a vision Krishna must have given him. And it was just too much for him, too much. And he's Brahma! Krishna took compassion upon Brahma because of his inability to see how Krishna was displaying the forms of Vishnu and transforming himself into calves and cowherd boys. And thus, while fully manifesting the Vishnu expansions, he suddenly pulled his curtain of Yoga Maya over the scene. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not visible due to the curtain spread by Yoga Maya. That which covers the reality is Mahamaya, or the external energy, which does not allow a conditioned soul to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead beyond the cosmic manifestation. So if someone is very, convinced and adamant and says, there's no God, show your God, prove your God, I don't, believe your God does not exist, and they may even present some seemingly logical arguments, right, which are ultimately flawed, but they can present such arguments. And when we hear those things or see those things, we should clock that, just see, this is Mahamaya. This is Mahamaya, which does not allow a conditioned soul to understand the Lord. Maya is working very nicely in this situation. This conditioned soul is just babbling nonsense, denying the existence of God. This is Mahamaya at work. But the energy which partially manifests the Supreme Personality of Godhead and partially does not allow one to see is called Yogamaya. This is interesting, huh? Yogamaya is the energy that partially does not allow and partially does allow one to see the Lord. Brahma is not an ordinary conditioned soul. He is far, far superior to all the other demigods, and yet he could not comprehend the display of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Krishna willingly stopped manifesting any further potency. The conditioned soul not only becomes bewildered, but is completely unable to understand. When you hear this, you think this is an absolute miracle that we are able to understand anything about Krishna. Like Srila Prabhupada has given us these books for the purpose of helping us to appreciate and understand Krishna. And if that's actually happening, then this is Yoga Maya at work. Yoga Maya is working for our benefit, isn't she? Allowing us to somewhat, partially understand Krishna. But if Yoga Maya partially allows us to understand and also partially allows us not to understand, then I'm thinking, how much about Krishna do I not get? I'm thinking, yeah, I've heard this. Krishna is God, right? He's a beautiful looking personality, the color of a fresh monsoon rain cloud, threefold bending form, right? He's very expert at playing the flute. In so many ways, I can think of all the descriptions I've heard of Krishna and think, oh yeah, I know Krishna. I know who God is, right? It's not possible. I must not know so much about Krishna. Because how can I? If Brahma was totally perplexed, how much better does Brahma know Krishna than me? It's a ridiculous comparison. Lord Brahma must know Krishna so much better than I do. And when Krishna reveals something of himself, Brahma is perplexed. When Brahma was relieved from his perplexity, he appeared to awaken from an almost dead state, and he began to open his eyes with great difficulty. Thus he could see the external cosmic manifestation with common eyes. He saw all around him the super excellent view of Vrindavana, filled with trees, which is the source of life for all living entities. He could appreciate the transcendental land of Vrindavana, where all the living entities are transcendental to ordinary nature. In the forest of Vrindavana, even ferocious animals like tigers live peacefully, along with the deer and human beings. He could understand that because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vrindavana is transcendental to all other places and is free of lust and greed. Brahma thus found Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing the part of a small cowherd boy. He saw that little child with a lump of food in his left hand, searching out his friends and calves, just as he had actually been doing 1 year before, after their disappearance. Immediately Brahma descended from his great swan carrier and fell down before the Lord just like a golden stick. The word used among the Vaishnavas for offering respect is dandavat. The word means falling down like a stick. One should offer respect to the superior Vaishnava by falling down straight, with his body just like a stick. So Brahma fell down before the Lord just like a stick to offer respect. And because the complexion of Brahma is golden, he appeared to be like a golden stick lying down before Lord Krishna. All the 4 helmets on the heads of Brahma touched the lotus feet of Krishna. Brahma, being very joyful, began to shed tears, and he washed the lotus feet of Krishna with his tears. Repeatedly he fell and rose as he recalled the wonderful activities of the Lord. After repeating obeisances for a long time, Brahma stood up and smeared his hands over his eyes. Seeing the Lord before him, he, trembling, began to offer prayers with great respect, humility, and attention. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 13th chapter of Krishna, the stealing of the boys and calves by Brahma. So this is such a wonderful pastime. I believe this pastime is very helpful to us for removing our false pride. Lord Brahma has many reasons to be proud, right? I mean, he's the universal creator. He has vastly superior intelligence to anybody else. He is empowered. He has 4 heads, right? He is empowered on so many levels. Huh? I mean, I'm sure he has a wonderful degree of mystic cities at his disposal. He has all kinds of reasons to be proud. But still, this little cowherd boy completely baffled him. Brahma could not handle it. He OD'd on whatever Krishna was showing him. So, we have something to learn from this pastime. Humility. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Now we will have Bhagavad Gita class. Please stay. And then Arati will be at 7 p.m. Hare Krishna. What's different from the West? It's got all the patterns.
No, actually measuring.
Honestly, like to sit on this. So Srila Prabhupada specifically said only pure devotees sit on.
Yeah, so if you're acting under the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, then you're in devotional service. If you're acting on someone else's, your own mind, then you're not in devotional service.
He also said that pure devotee means either first class, second class, or third class, but your motive is to please the Lord. You don't have to be humanitarian. Pure devotee means you have not ulterior motive.
She is to please the Lord and serve the devotee. No, anyway, we know what we're talking about. We can back it up.
I know you don't, but like, I just, for my own sake,
Yeah, anyway.
you're qualified. Goodness.
Anyway, you just get on with it. Huh? Share the same message with you not there.
Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Bhaktivedanta Manor on this lovely chilly Friday evening. Welcome to those who are joining us online. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix this mic. Oh. Okay, I'll just have to do all this. Right, so today the Bhagavad Gita class will be based on chapter 4, verse 24. But before we get started, we'd like to sing the Jai Radha Madhava prayers to invoke the blessings of their lordships and also to get ourselves into the right mindset. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Everyone please sing. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanichari, Yamuna Tira Vanichari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanichari, Yamuna Tira Vanichari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone please sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Going to recite the Mangalacharan prayers to invoke the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas. Please do recite along if you know it. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadammayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yad Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschitya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everyone please recite together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to this evening's Bhagavad Gita class. We're going to be discussing chapter 4, which is about transcendental knowledge. Verse 24. So I'll recite the verse and then you can repeat. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina. So we're now going to read the word for word dictionary definition that Srila Prabhupada has kindly given. And then you can repeat. So Brahma, spiritual in nature. Arpanam, contribution. Brahma, the supreme. Havi, butter. Brahma, spiritual. Agno, in the fire of consummation. Brahmana, by the spirit soul. Ahutam, offered. Brahma, spiritual kingdom. Eva, certainly. Tena, by him. Gantavyam, to be reached. Brahma, spiritual. Karma, in activities. Samadhina, by complete absorption. Thank you. Translation and purport given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Purport. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one to ultimately to the supreme goal, spiritual goal, is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which a conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is called Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who's suffering from the disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness as set forth here in the Bhagavad Gita. This process is generally known as yajna, or activities in sacrifice, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness, or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahma or Brahman means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental beauty are called Brahmajyoti, his spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahmajyoti, but when the Jyoti is covered by the illusion of Maya, sense gratification, it is called material. This material veil can be removed at once by the process of Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the result, all combined together are Brahman or the absolute truth. The absolute truth, covered by Maya, is called matter. Matter dovetailed for the cause of the absolute truth regains its spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman, or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in a state of samadhi, trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yajna, or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result of ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the Supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. So this particular verse in Sanskrit is a verse that I've learned from my childhood, so it's very easy to remember, it's very easy to recite. But the meaning of it is quite heavy and quite powerful at the same time. In the case of the translation of the verse and the purport, which Srila Prabhupada has painstakingly written, there's a theme, there's an ongoing theme here of complete absorption, fullness, becoming one in the absolute. Now just make a note, I'm not saying becoming one with the absolute, I'm saying one in the absolute. So becoming a particle of dust within the lotus feet of the Lord. So the state of complete absorption in whatever we do, it helps amplify the meaning and the significance of what we are doing. Srila Prabhupada explains in this verse that one who performs material activities but dovetails them into Krishna consciousness eventually, and does that with complete absorption, will gradually become purified, and the activity itself becomes spiritualized. The whole atmosphere becomes spiritualized. So in the translation, being fully absorbed in this state of Krishna consciousness, so much so to the point that one enters a state of trance, or as we call it in Sanskrit, a state of samadhi. What does that mean? Doing something when you're fully absorbed into it, you're being mindful of what activities you're performing in Krishna consciousness. You are mindful of the fact that you are not doing this to please your own ego. You're not doing this to please others. You are doing this to please the Lord. So when we do something that's a spiritual activity, we have to ensure that we are fully absorbed into it. Any activity, any material activity can be dovetailed into something spiritual. Have any of you sort of had a walk around the temple facilities, the grounds? There's a cottage on the other side, ladies' ashram. Next to that cottage, on the wall, there are 3 mosaic pieces. And on those mosaic pieces, it highlights all the activities that we do day to day, but we can purify them by doing it as an offering to Krishna. So any activity on those mosaic pieces is beautifully created, and it highlights all the activities that we could do, that we normally do on a day-to-day basis. So for example, cooking, cleaning, making some sort of decorations, singing, serving the Lord, serving the cows, serving the Tulsi Marani plant. All these activities, we do it as a day-to-day, but once we come to the mindset of doing it with the intention to serve Krishna, we're doing it with the intention to please Krishna, to please Vishnu, then that activity becomes purified. When you're cooking, in the temple, we have devotees who make bhoga for the Lord. So it's not just, we don't just make a meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we call it bhoga. Once that bhoga is offered to the Lord, it is then distributed to everyone. It becomes prasad. Why? Because it is sanctified. It is purified by the Lord. And it is blessed food. So in that way, everyday activities, Srila Prabhupada says, if we do it with complete absorption, then that will have the powerful effect of transforming our hearts, of purifying our consciousness. In the verse itself, Brahmarpanam, Arpanam, to do arpan, to offer something to the Lord. Brahma Ahutam, sacrificial offerings to the Lord. Whenever we're performing some sort of puja or religious sacrifice, what do we offer as sacrificial offerings? We offer ghee, we offer flowers, fruits, other paraphernalia. So sacrificial offerings. And Srila Prabhupada actually talks about how, as conditioned souls, we have the potential to be purified and be cured and reconnect with our own original spiritual potency. We have the potency, we have the potential to do that, but that is only possible by the process of Krishna consciousness. In a lot of Srila Prabhupada's books, he talks about how we are conditioned souls. What does that mean when we hear the term conditioned souls? Does anyone want to kind of guess what it could mean? What do you think it means when someone says to you that you're a conditioned soul? Anyone want to guess? What do you think it means? Conditioned soul. Yeah. The clue's in the name. Conditioned. So we are conditioned through thousands and thousands of lifetimes, through the process of birth, disease, old age, and death. And we are conditioned in certain ways to behave in certain ways, to carry out our life in certain ways, due to the influence of Maya, or the material illusory energy. And it's not just us who do it. Everyone does it, and everyone has been doing it for generations. Certain habits we have, certain ways of speaking, certain ways of dressing, that's all our conditioning that we have received from our previous generations. And that has been passed on through to us and through to our future generations as well. So conditioned souls, where we are so conditioned, we have developed a tunnel vision mindset, that we follow this shopping list in life. That, when a child is born, they are nurtured, then they go to school, then they go to college, the sixth form or university, graduate, get a job, get a house, get married, get a car, have children, retire, and that's it. That's the typical shopping list that everyone almost follows, right? So that's the conditioning that we have all been brought up with. But Srila Prabhupada says, in terms of the conditioning that we have, that we think that we are this body, we are so attached to this material body. We are so engrossed in thinking about how we present ourselves to others. We are so absorbed and so obsessed with looking good on the outside, going to the gym religiously, and doing everything, buying the best clothes, the best jewelry, the best car, the best house. Who do we do it for? Why are we doing that? Right? Who are we doing that to impress? His Holiness Keshav Maharaj always says, cultivate a life that not only looks good from the outside, but feels good on the inside. How do we cultivate that? Because some people, you see all these rich celebrities, all these millionaires around the world, they're popping pills, sleeping pills, because they can't sleep at night, right? They're on antidepressants. So many celebrities, so-called celebrities, have committed suicide. Why? They're millionaires. They have everything money can buy. And yet, there's that void. There's that void in the heart. something that's so empty, they become like an empty shell of the person. So that just goes to show that this material conditioning that we are blinded with in every birth, being obsessed with money, with power, with fame, all of that is the illusion that makes us think that we are going to be happy if we have loads of money, if we have loads of power, and if we are famous, or if we strive to work so hard, we work ourselves to the grave. And then we lose the opportunity to actually really dig deep and reflect and introspect on what is the purpose of our journey here today. What is the purpose of our existence? Why are we here? Like all of us here tonight, we could have been anywhere on a Friday night, right? Most of us go out with friends, we go to a restaurant, or we go to someone's house for dinner. We could have been at home, binge watching something on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. We could have been anywhere doing anything. But Krishna, because he is so kind, he has invited all of us, and he is trying to connect with us through our hearts. He has invited all of us to come here, to just kind of stop, pause, rewind, and reflect. What is our true purpose here? And with that understanding, we can gradually come to the point, even though that we are conditioned souls, we can gradually come to the point of self-realization. There's a very powerful book called The Science of Self-Realization, written by Srila Prabhupada himself. If any of you have not come across it before, we have some copies available in our reception lobby area and in the gift shop. Very powerful book. I highly recommend you read it. And in that book, in chapter 7, Returning to the Eternal Religion, Srila Prabhupada actually talks about the 4 defects that we have as conditioned souls. What are those 4 defects? We have the potential to commit mistakes. We have the propensity to commit mistakes. We have the propensity to be illusioned. We can't believe everything that we see with our eyes or hear with our ears, right? Because it could, or even whatever we hear, sometimes it is misconstrued or misunderstood. So we have the potential to be illusioned. We have the propensity to cheat others. We also have the propensity to be cheated by others, to cheat others, and we also have imperfect senses. So some of us, we are wearing glasses, right? Why? I'm wearing glasses because my eyesight is not perfect. That's a visual aid I have for myself. Without my glasses, I can't see very well. And some people who wear hearing aids, they can't hear very well. That's why they need that hearing aid. It aids them to hear better. So that's how Srila Prabhupada explains that as conditioned souls, we are born with these 4 defects: to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat others, and to have imperfect senses. But Srila Prabhupada says that we are all diseased souls. We all have some sort of disease. We all have some sort of, because we are conditioned, we are blinded by the illusion of looking for external factors to make us happy. And we are conditioned that way. And we are blindly looking for external sources, blindly running behind money and success, thinking that that will make us happy, that will give us peace of mind. But Srila Prabhupada says, if we come to the process of Krishna consciousness, if we read Srila Prabhupada's books, and if we learn what it is that we need to do to purify our souls, we purify our hearts, our minds, our consciousness, we gradually come to the stage of self-realization, where the conditioning of the material world doesn't quite affect us as much. Eventually, it comes to that stage. And the conditioned souls, Srila Prabhupada says, We become purified through the various material activities. So like I said previously, how if we perform certain day-to-day activities, but we do it with the mindset that we are not doing this for our own pleasure, we are not doing this to fulfill our own false ego. We are doing this to please Krishna. We are doing this for his pleasure, for his happiness. We will actually realize that none of this, everything that exists, whatever we are doing, none of this is in our control. And what we think we are doing for our own happiness, that flickering happiness is here today, gone the next second, right? But if we do it with a higher purpose, we do it with the mindset that whatever activities I'm doing, whether it's reading, whether it's studying the Bhagavad Gita, whether it's cooking, whether it's decorating your house, whether it's making flower garlands, whether it's making incense sticks or perfumes for the Lord. If we do it for the pleasure of the Lord, we will find that our consciousness becomes purified. And also, we also find that we become, the whole activity of offering that activity, the whole process becomes spiritualized. Whole process, the whole atmosphere becomes spiritualized. Like if you enjoy singing, for example, if you enjoy music, if you enjoy kirtan, we have lots of programs where we have kirtans here in the temple. We have kirtan melas. We also have kirtan concerts. So activities like that where you can dovetail everyday routines and make it into a spiritual offering, a sacrificial offering, Brahmana Ahutam. We offer it to the Lord with love and devotion. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever patram pushpam phalam toyam, patram pushpam phalam toyam. So even if you offer me, oh Shishi Radha Goplananda ki jai, Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shishi Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever you offer me with love and devotion, patram, a leaf, pushpam, flower, phalam, some fruit, toyam, some water, whatever we offer with love and devotion, Krishna says if we offer it with love and devotion, I will accept it. And it's so simple. Spiritual life is so simple. But if we do it, Hare Krishna, if we do it with complete absorption, if we do it with the intention of pleasing Krishna, if we do it with the intention that we want to do it as an offering of love, of our love, Krishna will accept that offering. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that this process of Krishna consciousness, what is it? Is basically the process of becoming, first of all, becoming conscious of who we are as spirit souls. We are not this body, we are the soul. So it doesn't help if we are too obsessed or too fixated on just maintaining the body. But if we feed our soul, we feed the body with food, grains, nutrition. We feed our minds with positive affirmations, But also, how do we feed our soul? What is it we are doing for purification? Srila Prabhupada says that any activity that is offered to Krishna with love and devotion is the process of Krishna consciousness. And through this process, the more we are conscious of the fact that whatever we are doing for the pleasure of Krishna, then Srila Prabhupada actually says in the purport that the material veil can be removed. The material veil of illusion. The illusion thinking that what we are doing will make us happy. What we are doing will make our family happy. But sometimes, no matter how much we do for others, it's never going to be enough. We have some people, we've all come across people in our lives, right? Where no matter how much we bend over backwards for them, how much we struggle and work hard to provide for them, to make them happy, nothing will ever be good enough for them. But then if we think about what Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, just a leaf, a flower or a fruit, so simple and so easy to obtain from anywhere. Some water even. Just simple little things like that. If we offer it with love and devotion, Krishna says he will accept it. What happens? How do we know that Krishna has accepted that? Because, and this is speaking from personal experience and from what I have observed from other devotees, when they are offering something, as the person, your heart becomes full. You become more and more satisfied with just simple belongings. You feel the need to just get rid of unnecessary clutter in your life. You feel satisfied with the bare minimum. You feel satisfied with Srila Prabhupada's statement, simple living, higher thinking. Simple living. We don't need excessive material possessions to make us happy. We don't need the best car or the best house or all the money in the world to make us happy. Just something simple. Why? Because when we clear our heart of that greed, of that desire to accumulate, when we clear our desires and also our mind, we make space for absorbing transcendental knowledge. We make space in our minds, in our hearts. And once we are blessed with that opportunity to be able to study or make time to study the Bhagavad Gita, we will realize that there is so much out there that we do not know about. There's so much knowledge, there's so much transcendental nectar that we are completely oblivious to. Why? Because we are so consumed by our material greed. If we take the time to, like all of you have come to the temple tonight, we have the 7 o'clock Aarti starting in about 20 minutes. If we take part in the Aarti, if we take part in different temple programs, but if we also make time to read Srila Prabhupada's books, to do some seva here at the temple, if we take time to, out of our lives, we have 24 hours in a day. If we take just 10 minutes out of those 24 hours, and if we spend just 10 minutes chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 108 times, we chant on japa beats, and one round is 108 sort of rounds, 108 names of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes in the morning. Srila Prabhupada actually talks about the Brahma Muhurat, the best time to meditate. If we want to take time out to meditate, the best time of day is in the early hours of the morning before sunrise. So the Brahma Muhurat is typically between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. So depending on what time the sunrise is, each day during the winter and the summer, if we consciously make a decision, today is Vasanta Panchami, right? Vasanta Panchami, what is that festival about? In Vrindavan, it is the onset of the first day of spring. And they say that the new year technically begins in spring. Why? Because in the new year, you have new flowers blossoming. You have new intentions. Whenever we actually come across the new year, we make New Year's resolutions. We make plans that this year, I'm going to do something different. This year, I'm going to make some sort of effort to dive deep within my heart. I'm going to make some sort of effort. I'm going to take 10 minutes, just 10 minutes out of 24 hours in the day. If we just take 10 minutes out of the day, early morning, and just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for 10 minutes, I promise you, that will set you up for the rest of the day. It is so powerful. And gradually, through this process, so this is a process of Krishna consciousness where you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and through chanting regularly, through chanting diligently, and every day, if we make that commitment on Vasanta Panchami, the onset of springtime, new beginnings, if we make a resolution in our heart that on this day, I will actually make a solemn promise to myself to nourish my soul and take some time out, just 10 minutes a day, to do some meditation. And then, at other times in the day, we have pockets of time. Kesha Maharaj, His Holiness Kesha Maharaj, talks about how we often actually complain that we don't have enough time. When we encourage people to read the Bhagavad Gita, oh, I don't have enough time. Either people will say, oh, I know it all. I know the Bhagavad Gita, I've read it. Or they will say, I don't have time. But then Kesha Maharaj actually says, if we take a notebook and we actually make a conscious decision that we think about, we do some introspection, and we think about, out of 24 hours in a day, how many hours do we spend sleeping? And out of the remaining hours that we are awake, how many hours do we spend wasting our time? I'm not talking about how much time we spend at work. I'm talking about the other time, right? So say, for example, you sleep for 8 hours a night, right? That leaves 16 hours that you're awake. Out of those 16 hours, you spend maybe 8 hours at work. So that leaves 8 hours. You have 8 hours of free time. How can we make that introspection, that in those 8 hours of my time, how can I use it conducively to make good use of this birth, this human form of life that I've been blessed with? We are not just born to go to work, do our 9 to 5s, pay the mortgage, pay the bills, go home, and that's it. We all know that there is a deeper meaning to all of us, in all of us. Krishna has brought us here. Krishna has created us, all of us individually, for a reason. He has given us, every single one of us, different talents, different skills. How can we use that in Krishna's service? How can we dovetail that to make it as an offering? For example, we were talking earlier actually about how if you love music, if you like singing, you can sing for the Lord. You can sing bhajans and kirtans for the Lord. How, if you like reading, if you love learning. Well, today is Vasant Panchami. Some people around in India, they also celebrate Saraswati Puja. They worship Ma Saraswati. Who is Ma Saraswati? She's the goddess of knowledge. But the powers that she has received to bless others with that knowledge comes from the Supreme Lord himself. Right? So Ma Saraswati is, in fact, she is a gateway to developing a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna himself through knowledge. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, he is the source of all knowledge. He has the power to bestow us with knowledge, but he also has the power to bless us with forgetfulness. If you want to remember Krishna, Krishna will give you many different opportunities to remember him. We have social media now. We have so many videos on YouTube with kirtans and live darshan of different temples that you can watch online. Right? If you want to remember Krishna, Krishna will say, Tathastu. Okay, I'll give you the tools by which you can come to me. What are those tools? Learning about Krishna through reading Srila Prabhupada's books, listening to classes, attending Bhagavad Gita classes, and actually even signing up to certain courses that help us develop a deeper understanding of what the scriptures are telling us. But if we have that desire that, oh, I don't believe in Krishna, I don't believe in God, I want to forget about him, Krishna will say, Tathastu. All right. You want to forget him? He will give you the tools to forget him as well. So we have to be very careful what we ask for. When we are praying to Krishna, a lot of us ask for many different things. We have to be very careful, because what do we do when those prayers are answered? How do we navigate that challenge? So this process of Krishna consciousness is actually a purification process by which we can actually realize who we really are. We are the spirit soul, we're not this body, right? So as a spirit soul, we are, Krishna says, every living being, so not just humans, but other insects, animals, birds, creatures, everyone, even plants and flowers, every living being is a part and parcel of me. A part and parcel. So what does that mean? So that means that we, because Krishna has created us, Krishna is our creator, he is our supreme father. We are part and parcel of him. We have been blessed with this lifetime. We have been blessed with this human form of life. What are we doing with it? What are we doing with that time? What are we doing with all the free time, the pockets of time that we get? What are we doing to really introspect and make the most of this lifetime? Because death can come at any moment. Any moment. Some of us, I could be going home from here. I might not wake up tomorrow. Death could come at any moment. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, at the time of death, if one thinks of me and one remembers me, then he will surely attain me. He will surely attain my kingdom. So we have to be very, very mindful how we are spending our time, our free time. Social media, it's a great tool if you want to promote something, whether it's a charitable venture or your own business. But social media at the same time is so dangerous because it actually chews up so many hours of our free time, right? So we have to be very, very mindful. The more we absorb ourselves in activities, mundane activities, the more we will become sort of so ignorant to the point that at the time of death, we will have to, whatever we think about, we will attain that in the next birth. And we will have to go through the whole process again. Birth, disease, old age, and death. Birth, disease, old age, and death. That cycle will continuously keep repeating itself every single birth. But Krishna says, if at the time of death one thinks of me, one will surely attain me. What does that mean? That through the process of Krishna consciousness, we will be free from the cycle of birth and death. We will never have to take birth again. Our soul will never have to suffer again through disease, through old age. Our soul will never have to, we will not have to torture ourselves again through the process of birth and death. The Bhagavad Gita is such a powerful, powerful text. It even describes what happens at the time of death. The soul is the body is in so much pain. The pain is equivalent, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purports, that the pain is equivalent to 1,000 scorpions biting you and stinging you at the same time. That's how painful it is, the extraction of the soul from the body. And then, because of that pain, it is so traumatic. Krishna is so kind that we don't remember what we were in our previous lives. We don't remember what happened to us at the time of our previous death, right? He is so kind that he wants to save us from that trauma because it is a very painful experience. It's a very traumatic experience. But Srila Prabhupada actually says that the more we absorb our mind, and if we perform certain activities with complete absorption, so not doing anything half-heartedly, complete absorption, that activity itself will become purified, the whole atmosphere becomes spiritualized, our hearts become purer, our consciousness becomes purer, and gradually we become eligible to go back to Krishna where we truly belong. Where we truly belong. We do not belong in this world. We are not of this world. We are just here as visitors. We're just here on a flying visit. Like an airport terminal, when you are actually waiting to catch a flight. You catch your flight and then you have a layover of, say, a few hours, and then you catch your next flight, right? So you're passing through the terminals. You're going from one airport to another. This is the same principle. In this life, whoever we are in this life, we are just passengers, we are just visitors. We're passing by the airport tunnel of life and death, birth and death, repeatedly, every single birth. So however long we are here for, we should consciously make that decision, make that introspection. Out of 24 hours in a day, if I can spare just 10 minutes meditating, gradually, we as conditioned souls, our conditioning will become purified. And we will realize that actually what we are really here to do makes more sense than what we are conditioned to do itself. So we're just going to be starting the 7 o'clock Aarti in about 6 minutes. Does anyone have any questions or reflections at this point? Anything anyone wants to share? No? Very quiet crowd today. Fine. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna everyone, the Aarti will start soon now at 7 o'clock. If I request you all, please come forward. Prabhu. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Jai Siya Ram Lakhan Hanuman ki Jai Shri Gaunitai ki Jai Shri La Prabhupada ki Hari Bol. आरती को शोभा की बजायो जयो गोरा चांदे आरती को शोभा
Can I request everyone to bow down? We'll have the Prema Dhani prayers now, and then we'll have the nursing prayers. Thank you.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Shishimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Gauri Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Shri Bhaktivedanta Manor Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. श्री सिंह भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Thank you very much all for attending the Aarti. Prashadam is now being served outside in the adjacent room, and the next Aarti will be at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Come on.